Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Moscow region. I'm not in Moscow today. I thought we'd go and have a look at a new supermarket that's just opened right behind me, and I think it might be interesting for everybody, especially people who love my supermarket tours. So let's go. The store we're going to go and visit is right in front of me. It's called Dixy, and this is a rather well-known chain of supermarkets. This is actually a new store and newly remodeled, and the town I'm in is called Aprelevka. And perhaps if you've watched my channel long enough, you know I actually live in this town. However, this is a bit of a distance from my house. It's around about a 30-minute walk to this supermarket. What's really interesting is across the road and just down the street, there's another supermarket called Magnit. There's also lots of older Soviet apartment buildings in this area as well. So there's another supermarket about 200 meters away. And then we've got Dixy right here. And it's got on the sign there, "We are open." And this store's been remodeled and rebuilt, rearranged, whatever the words are. And then where I actually am here, I'm on the opposite side of the train line from where Aprelevka station is. It's a little bit hard to see. However, right off in the distance is the main shopping center of the town, and then some other shops on the left-hand side. If you've watched the channel long enough, I did actually make 2 other supermarket videos from this same street. And the discount supermarket is only about 5 minutes walk from here. Literally next door though, so this is the supermarket building, is a fruit and vegetable shop. And these were incredibly popular throughout the whole of Russia and the Soviet Union. And this one actually has fruits and vegetables. They generally have a few other things in them from time to time. And these little small mum and dad style shops still exist in Russia. There's not as many of them as there used to be. They tend to be in smaller towns. And the supermarkets tend to take over a little bit. This is actually a little mini business center right here. There's a hairdresser's. There is also a pizza place, which I've actually had food here before. We want to go and see a Dixy supermarket, so let's head on inside. Just having a look at the opening hours. It's open every day from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m., which is a little bit longer than most typical stores are open. And it does actually say cameras are welcome, which is nice as well. Let's head on inside. So this is actually a business center. So there's some other companies and small offices on the upstairs level. And then the supermarket right here. We can see some of the weekly specials. Pretty much all the supermarkets have rotating specials on a weekly basis, very much the same as anywhere else in the world. Apples, potatoes, washing powder, and then let's head on inside. They do actually have a job listing here. So if you're interested in a job at Dixy, the store manager can earn 138,000 rubles. I think this would be the assistant manager, is 90,000 rubles. And the cashier or general staff, 53,000 rubles. Now, if you're wanting to Google what the average salary in Russia is, it's definitely written on Google much less than what they're saying there. And this is a supermarket. Now, there is quite a bit to take in. I actually haven't been in here since it's reopened, so I've not actually seen it before. So they do have some self-checkouts. It's really interesting. So they're empty and people are lining up to pay at the register. So there's 2 different cashiers. The one on the left here has the tobacco and some alcohol. And then the middle section here is the normal cashiers. And then generally the administrator sits at the table right here where they can print the tickets and prices and things like that. They don't hide in the back room or a manager's office. There is a couple of newspapers as well. So the usual way for most people to shop is with the hand baskets. because a lot of people would live locally and they're just going to walk home from here. And this is very normal. There is some mini shopping trolleys over there as well. And I'm pretty sure most people are just coming in for food for today or tomorrow. And that's about it. Really interesting at the checkout here. They've got a grab and go for some caviar and I think some butter as well, which is a bit interesting. And then actually some mini champagne, and there's even some frying pans down there. It's always interesting to see how they lay out the supermarkets in Russia. The actual first fridge that you come across is some ready food, and this is becoming a big thing in Russian supermarkets in the last few years. And the fact that you can come and grab something that's prepared and cooked and then put it in the microwave. So you've also got some salads as well and some soups, and they're very reasonably priced. If you take 100 rubles, it's roughly $1 or €1. So you can get a very easy meal deal. There's also some markdowns as well, probably because of the best before dates. And then if you want a cake or some pastries, you've got choices. Now, a lot of the Dixys that you visit, now where I live, we have an older Dixy which hasn't been renovated or changed. They don't have the bakery section, so they can actually do the par-baked bread in here. You can see the ovens and then the fridges. And then you've got the choices of the different breads and pastries, and these would all be prepared in the shop right here. And then also the cafe section, as it points out on the sign outside, you can get a coffee and a pastry for 70 rubles, which is very nice. Not even $1 for a coffee and a cake. Actually, there's different sizes. I think even the smaller one is only 50 rubles right there. And this is all help yourself. You've got the syrup. You don't need anyone to do anything. You just choose the different drink and then you just pay at the register as you're leaving. The one thing I get a lot on my supermarket tour videos is people talking about the fact that there's nobody in the store and there's nobody shopping. Now, today is Thursday afternoon. Actually, it's just gone 5 p.m. So a lot of people will be coming home from work, kids coming home from school. So there is people in the store as I'm walking around. Keep in mind, this is open from 8 in the morning to 11 in the evening. So where people work late, they can come shopping up until closing time. And the amount of people in the shop is not really a judge of how popular the store is or the fact that nobody is shopping. I remember from where I'm standing here, there's another shop a few hundred meters down the road. Actually, on this street where I am here, within a 10-minute walk, there is 5 supermarkets. So this is just one choice that I can choose to come to, and the people who live immediately nearby could come to as well. Let's have a look at these different pastries and breads. So there's quite a few different choices. These are all prepared in the store, and they've got some actually cooking in the back right there as I speak. I would imagine the staff in here know when the busy times are, so they know to prepare things, particularly in the evenings and afternoons like this, where people are coming in. So you can get some different bread loaves. Now, these aren't large compared to Western-sized bread loaves, but people in Russia buy these just for today, maybe tomorrow at the most. So you'll see the prices. Anything you're seeing under 100 rubles is less than $1. And if you've watched an old video of mine, in a different store, I had one of these snails, these different swirly pastries with the ingredients inside. Ciabatta bread there for 60 rubles. And then there's some other different pastry twists. And they've usually got different savory ingredients inside, depending on which one you like. So 50 cents if you want a French stick. French loaf, is that the right name? And actually, when I came to the bank around the corner a few days ago, I had these pizza breads right here. The best 50 rubles you can spend. Actually, the large one is only 80 rubles. And then there's a few that are not in stock. They literally will only bake a few, put a few out, and then repeat the process, which makes complete sense. And then there's also the regular packaged bread, which they'd get from a bakery somewhere in Moscow. And then even all of these are very reasonably priced. Actually, the classic loaf of bread at the bottom there is 40 rubles. And then 46 rubles for another loaf of bread. The thing with most Russian people when they come shopping, and I'm the same way, is I'm not buying things for a whole week. I'm buying it only for a couple of days, and that's it. Then I can come back and shop again. The fridge is at the front here, so this is all new. This wasn't here before. This is really quite a change coming into this Dixy compared to my local one where they've not done any remodeling or any improvements. So there's all the chilled fruits and vegetables in the fridge here. And then you've got some meat products. Now, a lot of people that would live in this area, particularly close by the train station, would go to a butcher's to get meat. Now, they do have plenty of choices here, but a lot of people will go to butchers over supermarkets. That's why there isn't, full shelves of things. And interestingly, they put some beer in the fridge on the top shelf as well, which is quite interesting, where they mix it up like that. What I'll try to do is do one lap around the store so we can get an idea of the overall space and size of the shop. Because this is actually a very nice supermarket now. It's really interesting when new supermarkets come to the town where you live and you're so used to going to the same normal everyday one all the time, and then you come to see something new, you're kind of curious about everything. They've actually got some stuff prepared here for Easter, and when we were living in Australia, my wife wanted to do these coloured eggs, and we couldn't find these in Australia. And have a look, there's a whole bay of them right here, the dyed eggs or coloured eggs that you use for the Easter celebrations, and then also different pie mixes and things like that. They're obviously preparing ahead. So in this middle section here is the fruits and vegetables. Now, it's not at the front of the store, which would be very traditional in a lot of supermarkets around the world. You see, we walked into that bakery area and the ready food section. And then, regardless of the weather, you can always get lots of different tropical things. So you can get mangoes right there. Now, these aren't made and produced in Russia. They're coming from Peru. And then, so one side is fruits, and then the other side are the vegetables. Vegetables pretty much are just the basic things, so potatoes, usually onions, carrots, tomatoes. You got plenty of choices of them though, if you didn't want just one type. And then even potatoes, you got a few different options. The carrots are right there. They don't look amazing, but they just need to be washed and they're fine. We've got the tea section and the coffee section. So if we walk around the outside of the shop, there's the traditional aisles in the middle, and then here around the outside is all of the dairy fridges, so milk, yogurts, and then I think we'll see cheese and ham around the corner. Bottle of milk, you're paying 90 rubles, depending on the type that you want. That's the normal one that I buy. So generally my wife buys long life milk, not fresh milk, because I don't drink any tea, so she's the only one that's using milk really. And there's different cottage cheeses, plenty of choices, so much so the men are always confused which one to buy, because there's too many choices even in a small supermarket. Lots of yogurts. That was really nice. So the gentleman there that was just choosing something in the fridge actually is a subscriber of the channel and watched a video, or at least the video of the supermarket up the road from here, and it got a lot of views. And how interesting that a fellow resident of Aprelevka is a subscriber and was right there at the same fridge where I'm looking. Coming around the corner, all of the different yogurts. So there's the normal ones that you'd use with a spoon, and then there's the drinkable type up the top. Get them even in the big bottles as well. And then we have some different cheeses and spreads. And then butter. Nothing is chained and padlocked. There is more than enough types of butter. And then we come to the eggs. Let's have a look. So yeah, long life milk right there, 83 rubles. I think this might be their in-house brand. It's not the normal brand that we buy. And then eggs, you've got quite a few different size choices for eggs. So if you look at the classic box of eggs for 90 rubles, so it's 10 eggs in a box. And then their house brand, actually you can get them for as low as 66 rubles. So definitely less than $1 for a box of 10 eggs. Even the fancy ones don't really go up that much in price. And as I swing around, we've got the children's section. So baby food, and then diapers, and then you've got some breakfast cereals, and then the different mixes if you want to do cooking or baking. These sachets that you can use if you want to do chicken or meat, or some goulash. Depends on what you like, really. And then ketchup, tomato ketchup. Even if Heinz wasn't here, you've got 10 other choices. However, it's definitely on the shelf. They actually even have all of these different barbecue type ones as well. Now, everyone watching where you live, is there all of these different Heinz flavors in your local supermarket? I'm very curious because I don't remember in Australia having so many different types. This one is for chicken wings. I think this is like a chicken wing sauce. Oh, I keep asking my wife to do some like sweet and sour wings. We like to do the teriyaki ones. And this back fridge right here, have a look how many choices of hams and salamis there are. I have done a few different videos going to some of their factory shops in Moscow. It's really interesting because, of course, they sell them in the normal supermarkets like this, or you can visit their brand stores as well. Lots of different types of sausages and bologna or polony. What does everybody call it? There's more than enough choices. And then there's some packaged seafood. The crab sticks, which I'm forever informed is not crab, but it's still very nice and popular. And you can get some fish. And then if you are wanting some mayonnaise, you've got about 20 different ones to choose from. And this would be probably considered a small selection of it. There's also some different small packaged seafood right here. My dad loves these mussels in Australia, the ones that are in the vinegar. Plenty of choices of cooking oil. So you've got regular cooking oil or sunflower oil. They've also got a couple of olive oils as well. Now if you go to the larger hypermarkets, of course they've got bigger selections. but this is a suburban supermarket. And this is very much a close to home supermarket as well. So we've got sugar in the large kilo packets for 60 rubles. And then I think salt is mixed in here as well, depends on which type you like. Now they're in bags though, so they're a little bit awkward to handle. So you generally put them in another container, but 20 or 30 rubles. And then flour. So the one I always tend to point out is this yellow packet one. But there's a couple of other brands that are a few rubles cheaper. 1 kilo for 67 rubles. Actually, here is the long life milk. These are the different brands that I generally buy if my wife asks me to bring some home. There's quite a few different types. And then over here we've got some instant noodles. The very famous dosarak, which is the meal you've always got in the back of the cupboard. And if you're hungry, boil some water and you've got a instant meal. Now they've got so many choices to compete with them. It's almost too many to choose from. We come to all of the different porridges and oats. This is a more common breakfast meal for Russians. People aren't buying sugary cornflakes and cereals. And then some canned meats. And then there's some different pickled vegetables. You can get anything pickled in a jar in Russia. Also the larger ones at the bottom there. And then corn and peas. There's even some canned fruit, which I don't think I've ever bought in Russia. Indonesian flag on there. And is that Thailand? Yes, on the side. So I always love to see products from other countries in Russian supermarkets. Of course, a large amount of stuff is produced domestically. Russia future-proofed the country a lot, going back 20 and 30 years ago, and had a lot of things domestically produced. Even things like all the different pastas here, these will all be produced in Russia. Even if they've got an Italian stripe on them, they'll still be made at a local factory somewhere. Along with the teas and coffees on this side, there's also all the biscuits and some of the packaged pastries. I used to love these 7-day branded ones. They're like chocolate-filled croissants. And I've gone off them a lot now. I get the fresh pastries. They're just as nice. Lots of treats. This is the other thing that I really love, these waffles down here. Very dangerous. Once you open a pack, you want to finish them all. And then all the normal coffee products. Nescafe written in Russian Cyrillic. And then different teas. The actual supermarket itself is a lot bigger than what I thought. And how big the aisles are and the choices are. It's a lot larger than what I realized from outside now that I'm walking around inside the shop. There's a little bit of frozen food. I never tend to see anybody buying things in the frozen section because there's so much availability of fresh food and fresh vegetables. I don't think between my wife and I we've ever bought any of the different frozen meals that you can really just put in the microwave or in the oven. The only thing we would buy is the dumplings down here, or pelmeni. There's quite a few different choices. Washing up liquid, Tide laundry detergent. So all of the normal things. And this is a brand new fresh supermarket, let's call it that. I do like their lighting in the store now. I'll nitpick a lot when I come to different shops because of the fact that I've worked in retail for all of my life. Back in Australia during COVID, I worked in supermarkets doing the merchandising and the visual displays of the shops. So I tend to notice things very quickly when something is right or wrong. All of the pet food. So the sachets of pet food, 19 rubles or 24 rubles, depending on the brand. I imagine that there's obviously enough people in the country that warrants so many brands to survive and prosper. All of the laundry soap and then personal care items, all of the everyday normal things for cleaning the house and the kitchen. Actually, the section here for personal items. Now, depending on the shop you come to, the layouts will differ quite a lot, depending on how much space they have. A lot of times, things like these pillars and the lighting plans have to be based on what was in this location previously. And they do have the barcode scanners, which is really nice, so you can check the prices. Just walking around though, everything is ticketed and priced up, which is always my pet peeve in any supermarket. No excuses for not having a price tag on something. One thing I always find interesting in a lot of supermarkets in Russia is all the different branded fridges that the different product manufacturers will provide to the supermarket. So they'll provide their own fridge, and then of course it's stocked with their own different products. So this shop does have alcohol, beer, wine in the store as well. You've got all the different types of water. So do you need really 4 bays of different water? Of course, there's the gassy water and then the non-gassy water. And this would have been the Coca-Cola fridges. And they've changed the stickers. The swirl right there, do you ever remember that on the Diet Coke, is still in place. And then all of the products that were produced at the same factory are still in the fridge, just with a slightly different logo on. Let's just scooch around. More choices of chilled beer. Why they don't just have one big bay of fridges rather than each company? I think just the fact that they provide them to the supermarkets, I think that's purely why they let it be like this. Lay's chips. Can we see any new flavor? I don't notice anything too different. They all look like the classic assortment. There is the Lay's stacks, which will pretty much replace the Pringles depending on the shop you go to. I've not had these ones before, the Max ones. I have had the ribs flavor though. This is very nice. Actually, they've got the shashlik one back there as well. So they've got 2 different types. And all of the sugary drinks, all of the things that we expect to see in supermarkets and more. And just coming around to the back section of where the bakery was, there is some other packaged bread. We quite often buy these bread rolls right here. They make easy sandwich meals. Tortillas. So you've got all the things that you know and love in the supermarket. I really do hope you're enjoying this walk around. I know they're very popular on the channel, and a lot of people ask me to go to different shops and find new stores. And this is a brand new shop. Well, Dixy is a well-known established brand, but this store is completely new. Even all the ceilings and the lights, everything is very nice. And the thing that I'm so used to living in Aprelevka for so many years is my same normal usual shops. And then when I come for a walk here, now as I said, this is not where I live. I'm about 30 minutes walk away from this store. I'd have to have passed about 15 supermarkets before I got to this one. So I wouldn't come here just for shopping, because I've got one in my building, I've got one in the next building. And this is a very common thing in Russia, this close to home supermarket trend, and building them as close to where people live as possible. And then there's no need to get in a car and go to a supermarket or a hypermarket. It's not a necessity at all. All of the beers. There we go. Made in Germany. They can't put it any clearer on the front of the can, I don't think. And then different ciders. If we want some bud without alcohol, and we can. I just want to point out one thing, because it's quite easy to show some of the comparable prices here. So some of the beers in this section right in front of me. So you're looking at 63 rubles, 67 rubles, 50 rubles, 62 rubles on the top shelf. Now keep in mind that price. Let's just wander down here to the soft drinks. Now if I go to the Dobra Cola, which is, or what was, Coca-Cola, and then even Eves, which is Pepsi, or was, 76 rubles, and then, well, depending on the different cola there, 95 or 79 rubles. So beer is cheaper than soft drinks, which is quite interesting. Of course, the no-name brand cola for 23 rubles. Leave it on the shelf. It's just an interesting thing to point out that a large can of beer is cheaper than a can of soft drink. Now that was not very technical of the choice that I did there, but I think it gives you a good reference. And the wines. Got more than enough wines between about $6 and $10 US. And we're talking wines from Spain, Italy, France, South Africa, some of the South American countries. And then we come around to the spirits. So this is not a large selection. In Russia, there is plenty of alcohol shops or beer and wine shops. So this also wouldn't be maybe people's first place to come to. If they want only alcohol, they'd go to somewhere else. But if you're coming to do your general shopping, you can get pretty much all the choices you like. I was going to have a look at the Stolichnia here. Actually, I think that might be the wrong ticket. Well, let's have a look at one other bottle. Actually, right here. There we go. So the half-liter bottle is not even $4 American for the small one, which is very inexpensive. Of course, vodka's from Russia, it would make sense. But even a bottle of imported wine for $5 or $10. You've even got some smaller bottles of whiskey there for $7 or $10 at the most. So you've got lots to choose from. It's just a matter of what brand you prefer. We're almost towards the end of the video. I will actually have to grab a couple of things for me to take home. I was actually planning to come to the supermarket to grab something, and I thought it has to be a new video on the channel to come to a brand new shop. Now, if you're from Russia, I think you would know Dixy very well. And if you are from Russia, let me know in the comments, does your Dixy look like this? Does it have the coffee machine? Does it have that bakery section? Does it have all of the refrigerators stocked? Of course, Raffaello is well represented. Lavazza coffee. Come around to some of the grab and go items. And we've even got the ice cream right here. This A4 ice cream is actually a very famous YouTuber in Russia, especially with the younger demographic. So he's got his own selection of food and drinks and ice creams and burger meals, and then all of the candy bars and pretty much everything you need. And I'll try my best not to get too many people in the video. And the register at the end, so you can get tobacco there and then some other alcohols as well. It is very interesting, the dynamic of the supermarkets, because everybody comes to the cashier and they've got the self-checkouts, but people just don't like using them in Russia, particularly in smaller shops like this. It's not as common to use them when you've got the nice lady here who will help you and take care of your purchase. So you can actually see the staff coming back to this register and the computer here. So in Australia, our point of sale terminals are all in the back, the ones where you print the tickets and the pricing and changes. And in Russia, they like to put them in the front of the store. So if you want to come and talk to the administrator, you want to ask something, or you can't find something, the staff are on hand for you all the time. So what do you think of my local Dixy supermarket? And I want some constructive comments. And what do you think of things like the bakery and the fact you can get yourself a coffee? Everything is very available. Plenty of space to walk around too. As I head on out of Dixy, Aprelevka's newest supermarket, I actually got what I needed to buy. I did actually have to come to the supermarket for a couple of things today as well, so it was perfect. It's got a little bit darker now. Actually, I picked a nice time to come for a walk because it was raining most of today, and now it's just cleared up. Actually, I think we might even have some blue skies coming. I've got to walk across the other side of the train line to head home. This is very much the older part of Aprelevka on this side of the train lines. A lot more older buildings, older apartments, and I've got around about 30 minutes to get home. It's not a problem though. It's nice compared to what it was earlier today. I really hope you've liked this video and this walk around of a brand new old supermarket. It's brand new for Aprelevka. It's new for all the people that live in this part of town, and it's nice for me to come and see something new and fresh. And even in all of these challenging times and tough economical times, I keep hearing this on the Australian news all the time, and the supermarkets are to blame because the prices are too high. In Australia, we only have a few main brands of supermarkets, so they control what we can buy. Whereas here in Russia, if I don't like Dixy, I can walk a few hundred meters to Magnit. I can walk a few hundred meters in front of me to Pitorichka. Actually, all of these places I'm mentioning, I've made videos inside, and I can go into the shopping center across the road and there's a supermarket in there as well. So lots of places and choices. My new hat is not cooperating today so well. I don't know what's going on. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, post a comment, let me know how that shop compares to your local store. Let's say at least the shop that's walking distance from your house. Now, there wouldn't be anybody that would drive to that shop. Everybody would walk there or live in the immediate area surrounding where the building was. I think it would almost be rare if somebody pulls up in a car and goes shopping for their groceries in that shop. We can see one of the trains pulling into the station. This is a fairly large train station for this part of the southwest of Moscow. Trains continue on further south, or you can get the train, what would it be, about 39 minutes, and I can be back in the center of Moscow on the train. In the car from here, depending on traffic, about an hour 15, maybe even an hour and a half, depending on the traffic. So yeah, no worries. Okay, everybody, again, thumbs up. If you want to follow my Telegram channel, I do post lots of content on there. And if you want to see the shop that I went to, that's down the street from here, the competing business, I'll put that as a link so you can watch that right after this video, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.